Critical Mass community. For those of you who don't know who I am yet, I'm Tam Dillon. I'm the founder and chair for Critical Mass. And if you don't know what Critical Mass is, hang around for a couple of minutes because I'm going to be chatting about that in this video. This is an introduction to what Critical Mass is, why I started it, where the name comes from, and a little bit of insights into the global shift that I keep talking about. I will be doing a separate series that goes more in depth into the shift, and that will be an ongoing series as I get more insights and more information given to me. So let's chat about what is critical mass. Critical mass has two main components to it. The first being facilitators of the global shift in consciousness, and the second is restoring dignity and respect to spirituality and its practices. How do we do that? Primarily education. We educate through predominantly our YouTube channel, through the different series that we have. We also have discussions about it. We have our different monthly gatherings, and we talk about these specific topics. And inside our shift gatherings specifically, which are very action focused, we look for tangible actions that we can actually take to keep facilitating these two things. So we're not just talking about it, we're actually looking to do things about it. So let's chat about the global shift in consciousness. The global shift in consciousness, if you're in the critical mass ecosystem, likely you already know about the global shift. You're like, oh, I know what she's going to talk about. So the shift in consciousness is a shift towards a more yin-based consciousness. I choose my words very, very carefully because I know words like masculine, feminine, matriarchy, patriarchy are very triggering, and they can be very polarizing words. When we're talking about yin and yang, people are a little bit more receptive because, well, we all emulate the qualities of yin and yang. They're literally the dual aspects to ourselves. Primary function of most spiritual practices is to bring unity to those two aspects of the self. So the world as a whole, for centuries, colonization, rule of the church, very much to blame for why we are where we are, has been very yang heavy. Competitive, domineering, hierarchy, focused on, small little group of elites at the top and bug everybody else. And shifting towards a more yin-based consciousness is softness, compassion, community, collaboration. So you can see why we would need to essentially have both, but we need to have balance in both. So it's not about us going all the way over to the yin side and becoming, soft and mushy and, overly emotional. No, it's about bringing it all into the center. If we look at the world the way that it is, it's not functioning the way that it should be. And that is like glaringly obvious. Like, we should not be going to war with one another. We should not be dropping bombs on one another. We should not have kids going to bed at night thinking, am I going to eat tomorrow? Empty bellies. They probably haven't had food for a couple of days. They don't have fresh, clean drinking water. We shouldn't have these kinds of imbalances. Us as a global collective, we are distant relatives. And I don't want my distant relatives to go to bed hungry and think, where am I going to get my next thing of drinking water from? And am I going to have a bomb dropped on me while I'm asleep? Like, we should not be functioning like this. But because we're functioning so heavy in our yang, we've become toxic inside that yang. Okay. So the global shift in consciousness is moving towards a more yin-based consciousness where we're bringing in aspects like compassion, collaboration, community, thinking about like, hey, does my distant relative have food to eat tonight? Do they have a roof over their head? Have they got clean drinking water? And is anybody trying to drop a bomb on their head? So this is why we need to have that shift in consciousness. The other side to what we do is restoring dignity and respect to spirituality and its practices. For me, this is a topic that is very close to my heart, something I'm incredibly passionate about, because there's been such a huge surgence towards pseudo-spirituality, this very whitewashed, glamorized, TikTok, Instagram-ready version of what spirituality, or what people think spirituality should look like. And it's horrifically false narratives. They are harmful, and they are not doing us any favors. Spirituality and its practices go back to the dawn of time. Like, humanity has always had some form of spiritual practice. We have always had rituals and ceremonies, you've also always had community and collaboration. So for us, we are looking to restore that dignity and respect, and we do both of these aspects of critical mass primarily through education, predominantly through our YouTube channel, through the different series that we have. We also do it through our educational posts, open dialogue with our community, and we also have our shift gatherings where we find tangible actions that we can actually take to facilitate these two things. So we're not just sitting around talking about the stuff, we're educating and we're actually taking focused action to ensure that these two things happen. Because while we give a shit about humanity, we actually give a shit about where we're going as humanity. Why did I start critical mass? This is a number one question that I get asked. And for the first year of critical mass, in answering this question, I always felt so awkward because I was like, people are going to think I'm crazy for the answer that I give. But it is the only answer that I can give. The ancestors told me to do it. That is why I started critical mass. It has come directly from the ancestors that this is something that you need to do. They showed me this beautiful black map, all the countries outlined in gold, and these beautiful golden lights just popping up by their tens of thousands. And they said, you need to go and find these people. You need to go and find these healers and these change makers, because they are going to facilitate the shift. They are going to restore dignity and respect to our practices and our traditions. So I'm here on the ancestral order. Where does the name critical mass come from? That comes from conversations that I used to have with my older brother, JD, back when we were teenagers. He's the first one who introduced me to the shift in consciousness, to this very needed shift in consciousness. Back then, he said to me, if we don't shift, we're going to land up going the same ways as Atlantis, Lemuria, all of these old ancient civilizations that do not exist anymore because they obliterated themselves, because they didn't shift properly, they didn't tip in the right direction. We as a society are now sitting at that tipping point. Beginning of 2025, that was the tip point for us. I've always debated whether I would see the tipping point in my lifetime, and part of me was like, I think I'm going to. And yep, 2025, the ancestors got super loud and they were like, the time is now. Now you're at the tipping point. You've got to shift as a global collective. My brother used the term critical mass as the explanation for this global collective that will need to come together to facilitate that shift, to ensure that we are restoring dignity and respect to spirituality and its practices. And he referred to it as a critical mass. So critical mass, scientifically speaking, is an accumulation of a very specific type of energy or frequency, all buzzing along at the same rate at the same time, that can cause a huge shift. Enough of us functioning on the same frequency, on the same vibration, with the same objective, we will cause a massive global shift. And that global shift is a shift in consciousness. What the shift looks like, I will share that in my shift series. So please go and check that series out as I go and release it and develop it. So we've chatted about what critical mass is, why I started critical mass, where the name comes from, and I've chatted a bit about what the global shift in consciousness is. So I hope this answers a lot of those kind of introductory answers for you. If you're still a little bit like, I need to know more and I've got more questions, by all means, drop it in the comments. I'm happy to answer. If it's something that's a little bit more long-winded than just typing out a comment answer, I will pop on and I will do another video for you. But this should answer those very basic introductory questions. What is critical mass? What are we all about? And how are we facilitating the different things that we stand for?